Show number 10 of Into the Cubieverse. And we got Magic Dragon. How's it going, Magic Dragon?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Uh,
The Cubieverse is the GPS based game where you walk to get keys, use keys to open trivia vaults, answer trivia to earn rewards, and then use those rewards to enhance your in game experience or convert to real life rewards. Thank you for joining us and get ready as we take you into the Cubieverse.
all right, we also got
Lionheart?
Lionheart.
Hey everybody, how's it going? So I think we always start show off with how our last week was into the Cubieverse. But how was our last 2 weeks into the Cubieverse? We had to cancel last week's show. We just had a bunch of real life stuff going on. It happens. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for coming out. So I'll go first. I've actually had a pretty slow start to the month, just keeping up with AR. No real goals or objectives. Keeping out of the auction house, just trying to build up some Cubie coins and some keys. Yeah.
Awesome. Why
How
don't
about
you
you
tell
guys?
us, before we go too far, why don't you tell us what you were actually able to do with support of Illusion Weaver?
Yeah, we got some loot codes today, and so you saw us with numbers on our head. Numbers will appear in order, and just
And
stay
if you all
tuned.
pay a little bit of attention, I'm going to give you the last code at some point during the show.
Yeah, it may not be visual, but it'll be pretty obvious.
Oh, you'll know. You'll know. Oh, you'll know.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and what's the loot code for?
Oh, pepperoni. Yeah, we're big on pizza. We got some
Right.
pizza structures out. We're going to talk about it in Hunter's Lodge. This is pretty cool. I wish we could have given it out last week, but it is what it is. We've got 10 codes for some pepperoni up. How much was that? I'll just look real quick. Was it
I thought it was
500 pepperoni?
500 pepperoni.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, 10 codes for 500 pepperoni. So stay tuned. We just gave you the first three numbers in order at the start of the show. And at any point, we could give you that last more number.
That's it. So yeah.
How's your week been, Atrocities?
Well, since we last talked, I had a little bit of some excitement. So first of all,
Oh, yeah?
proceeded to smash my phone.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Yeah, smashed my phone. I was getting into the car, and turns out that the phone drops out of one's pocket. One should not be shutting the door at the same time. So it got a little crunched across the bottom there.
Oh.
So that was.
it didn't survive that?
It did not say no. It did not. It did not survive that. So that was. Yeah, out of the Cubieverse for a couple days there until I got a replacement set up. So that was good. Fortunately, very easy to actually transfer my Cubieverse from one phone to the other. No issues at all. So that's a good thing to know. And
Yeah,
then,
it is.
And
Good
then
stuff.
the other exciting story was that in regards to Leprechaun. As we discussed, my wife bought the Leprechaun blueprint. I decided I would not get it.
Okay.
The St. Patty's Day?
The St. Patty's Day. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
St. Patrick's
Yeah,
Day
right.
Cubieverse. And so she printed a bunch of them off, and she was selling some. She got 30 for buy it now, so she was doing well to buy it now. This was great. And then she calls me up. I'm at work. She calls me up. She's all panicked. She says, "Oh my God, I just accidentally listed my blueprint,
Oh, no.
and not the Leprechaun for with buy now price
no.
of 16,000." So I'm like, so
Oh, boy.
she's like, "You gotta move your headquarters and buy it." So, and at that point in time, it had taken her 5 minutes or so at this point to figure
Right.
this out because. She listed the one and went to list the second one, fortunately. And it's like, you don't have
Yeah.
another one. She's like, what? Like, what's going on? So I had a second one and then she, did whatever. Anyways, long and short of it, it was up for a couple minutes there. It calls me up. So suddenly now I can hear the panic in her voice. and my phone, I'm sitting there trying to like, okay, how do I delete my headquarters and drop my headquarters and go in, and then like I'm trying to go the buy it now option. Of course, I hit like place a bid, like no, back out. And
No.
anyways, I was able to buy her blueprint for 16,000, which solved part of the problem. Obviously, I
Yeah.
had it and
Part.
she did not have it. So then it's like, okay, well now you got to put a ticket in uh, to make sure that there's no issues, because we had talked about that in
Right.
our previous show. So she puts
Yeah.
the ticket in, and the response was, "No, we can't reverse this transaction for you." Okay, that's fine.
That's fair.
But we just want to make sure that when we're not getting in trouble when I sell it back to her
For the
um,
same price.
for the same price or so, right? Because they're like,
Yeah.
so we got kind of two different messages. Because one was like, you kind of got to be selling it at market price, and at the same time, we don't want to see a coin transfer happening. So,
Right.
um, anyways, we clarified that yes, we'll sell it back at the 16,000, same price. But we did, of course, at that point, we're like sitting and going like, when's the best time to do the trade?
Yeah.
Because there is still a risk of trading it back.
Yep.
What time a day do you think would be like? Would you, if you guys in a situation like what time would you think would be the best time to say, okay, the market's quiet, we're probably not going to run into issues, like what when would,
E-
I actually would
I,
avoid the evening because that's the West Coast and morning time. Like
yeah,
as early as possible without pushing into late night drunkards doing some last minute bidding before
that was
crashing.
because you're
well, I would worry a little bit about the UK though, being
Oh
5 hours
yeah.
ahead of us. So that puts it right in the prime dinner time, sitting around, on your phone and getting ready for the switchover. So
yeah,
I'd probably
Mhm.
go like mid morning our time. You
yeah.
make it 3 o'clock there, or just before, hopefully too early for the West Coast.
Yeah, well, I agree because like that was the thing, right? Because like late our time is, I find that the market is really can be happening at that point in time. Um, so anyways, we decided what we do is like wait till Saturday, which is 2 days away, and like get up and do it around like 10 o'clock in the morning our time here. So, um,
Okay.
anyways,
Did it
uh,
work?
it worked. Yay!
Okay.
But it was stressful, right? Like, we got
Oh,
it,
for
I had
sure.
everything ready. And it's like, okay, just get ready to grab it. And anyways, it did work, but whoo, that was
Huh.
uh, that was lots of
Wow.
fun.
So
So
what you're telling me is I missed out on a second blueprint for 16,000 cubic coins.
everybody else did absolutely. So it was, and the thing
Um,
with, and that's the risk with buy it now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like if you listed something like that accidentally and there's no buy it now price, then it should go for
Yeah.
market value. But with the buy it now,
Right.
ooh. So lesson for everybody there is to just learn from that and double check when you're listing stuff, especially with buy it now, right? Like seriously take a look at what you're actually
Yeah.
listing, because yeah, it could have been disastrous. So, anyways,
Huh. For
so
sure.
that's my stories.
Well, that sounds excellent. You two seem to have really good stories for this week, whereas mine have just been pretty regular. Get my few vaults every day. I'm doing well in the adventure road. Uh, I really like what, sort of talking on what you're expanding on what you're saying, Chris. Since they've switched to the new auction house, I've no longer put up one resource for sale. I did that a number of times previously when you had to, first of all, you click what resource you want to sell, then you have to put the amount in.
Yeah.
I skip over that. I've sold one Anthurium flower, I don't know how many times.
And I'll tell you, I bought like one Anthurium
Yeah.
flower or whatever equivalent is a few times myself. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So
for,
tonight's show.
yeah,
Yes.
let's get in.
Awesome. So
I just heard one quick complaint. Sorry, guys. Just that someone's experienced a high-pitched squeal. So if anyone else in the show is hearing that, just let us know. But we'll keep going unless there's any complaints, maybe individual specific. But yeah, let's carry on with the show. And yeah, everyone. Yeah, I think they're okay. Right on.
I'm going to throw up on screen.
Oh, Hoth does say he hears a high pitch, so I don't know if it's a microphone. He's not too bad. I don't know. That's odd.
I'm not hearing anything come from you guys.
I'll try
I'm
moving
not
my
hearing
camera.
anything, but
I do launch. Sounds like Minnow left his printer on. Okay, well, as long as it's Minnow's fault, let's carry on.
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay, here.
Yeah.
I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you can see what videos I got up.
Oh, nice.
I got up. So going over the Hunter's Lodge. First thing they talked about was export mechanic changes. I thought before going in there, the big thing I noticed was that they talked about, they're putting in more kind of features related to your level, right? So currently, it's level 30 for the buy it now is the only function they've got in there. This case here, exports level 10, which level 10 is pretty easy to get. I think it's not like level 30 where
No.
months and months.
If you're a legitimate player, you're going to get that level 10, right?
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure. For sure. So, but hey, it's nice to see they've got gift cards happening. So that's great. And with that, they've got the first gift card exports, which were the Domino's in the U.S. and Pizza Hut in the U.K. Unfortunately, we got nothing here in Canada. And relatedly, they've put the pizza structure in, which we've got pizza, pepperoni for everybody, or for those 10 lucky people here. So that's great. Pizza structure seems it's a lot like the sushi event. I think it's the same price for the structure. 3 stamps, 3 unique stamps, meaning you need a Canada stamp, a USA stamp, and a UK stamp, or whatever you got for you. And likewise, you need to staff it with like an infinity of pizza, which is obviously the pizza guy. And it looks like the tiki, they've added that functionality to the tiki guy. I don't know if he had that affinity before at all or not, but seems like going forward, the tikis may have some different affinities related to them. So get your tikis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be interesting to actually kind of go through all the tiki.
Right? The tiki specifically is Paprika. I think that's the name. It's just the one. I do believe it was always an affinity to it, because I think that's what his description was when you clicked on him. I love pizza.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I'm thinking right now is might be interesting to go back through all the tikis, because now it's Luna that's construction, and look at all the other randomizers to see if they share affinities or if they're different, if something else is coming up.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing to look at for sure. Or hopefully somebody's already done that. And they can tell us what other affinities. And if they don't, it's almost nice if they were just adding these as they go. So you may end up having a lot of them or not. So for sure. So I think that's cool. And then likewise, Pizza Quest, same as the Sushi Quest, except you can do it a lot quicker, which is pretty good. And then of course we've got the likewise there's like the common blueprint, and then there's the more difficult blueprint for the sushi and the other. So
yeah, it seems like they're keeping on. Night, buddy. I love you. I see you. So everyone, that's a little lion heart. Not too happy to go to bed apparently. Um, yeah, but it seems like we're getting a pretty standard with restaurants that you've got your regular chef and a
Yeah,
master chef. So
Yeah,
I think
that
we'll
makes
look forward
sense.
to that with
that's
more
cool.
restaurants to come, and they'll probably do something with other structures that are staffed in the future.
Yeah, and so obviously in Canada we don't have a partner at this point. Potential to get one. Are you guys versus in the states and whatnot? Whereby if you
I
have,
can't hear you anything anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I thought that was just me. Chris, can't hear you. Sorry, buddy.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I pulled a cord thinking that might have been the source of the noise, but clearly it wasn't. So that's fine.
It cleared up one noise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So what are your thoughts on building a pizzeria at this point in Canada when we um, don't have the partner? I guess actually, probably before I answer that question, probably should say uh, that if the pizzeria you build is on part of the partner network, it gets additional functionality of unlocking gift card exports at structure level
Yeah.
5. So, um, which is important functionality. And I know we got a message saying that one was built here in Canada by none other than I guess say it wrong,
great too.
Ray Chu, which doesn't seem like it's a surprise because you got something else first. I don't know if we get the messages for the states or if he was the first one overall or how that actually works. But yeah, congratulations to him. Um,
Yes.
so, what's your thoughts on uh, building this when we don't know, like, if maybe, like, what if they announce pizza next month versus maybe we don't get one ever versus just going and get one built.
Yeah, I guess like I'm not in a particular rush to go out and do it. It's just not on my agenda or play style. You can't do everything in this game, and with not having exports right now and not really having a use for it, like we're just still focusing on getting the sushi restaurant up and going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as for myself, it's not on my radar right now because I think we're going to get to it soon, but there's a different structure that I'll be looking forward to building and implementing my Blue User Vault on Tim Hortons
Mm.
soon.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Save the powder. But hey, you know what? Regardless, it's nice to see them getting this in. Some of these export structures
Yeah.
starting partners.
Yep.
It's moving along great. Obviously, if we're in the U.S. or the U.K., I think I'd be more inclined to get one of these down, and I would personally be putting one on the partner site as opposed to a more of a
The
generic
generic.
site.
Yeah.
This, I think,
hmm
though, is an improvement off of um, the sushi one because it seems like it doesn't take as much time to do it, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think they said what, 5 minutes?
5 minutes or
Five.
so.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's not that I like 45 minutes for a sushi meal makes sense to me.
Yep.
Where I was disappointed with that one was I spent that and I ended up getting 100
Yeah.
sushi sticks or
Mhm.
whatever, which
Yeah. Chopstick.
chopsticks. That's what they're called. Which
Yeah.
mean that I'm gonna how many hours I'm gonna spend before I can get enough for another
Yeah.
cubie.
Yeah.
I'm better off going to a trade shack that's got a sushi guy in it to get more resources. But
Yeah. That's
hmm
true.
anyway, but of course you got to get there in the first place, right? So
Yep.
it is what it is. All right, so moving along. Next item they talked to us about was the uh, M&A event. So
Yeah.
let's go back because I don't think they actually had a slide on it. But in Canada, we talked about Tim Hortons as being
Yeah.
what we're going to get.
I think that
Hopefully,
was more part of the Q&A at the end.
Yeah. That
yeah,
was at the end.
for sure. It was definitely part of the Q&A at the end that came out because obviously a lot of questions from the Canadians were all about the Tim Hortons and what are we doing instead of the pizzeria. So they gave that out. I'm definitely much more excited, obviously, to get the Tim Hortons up and running in Canada, and I think I'll be trying to get one of those up pretty quick myself. I don't have the
Yeah.
builders, so I imagine Rashu's going to be the first one on that one again. But I think that's I think it'll be great to be able to get that certainly from Tim Hortons in Canada. A lot of people use Tim Hortons, so having that available, I think, might be a really great way to get people start, recruiting people to play the
Definitely
game.
makes it more attractive
Makes it easy,
for
right?
people who want the exports, right? So that's good.
Because who in Canada doesn't use Tim Hortons? So
Yeah.
right. So I think that's a really good thing. So awesome. Okay, so moving along. Next event, starting. It's the MMA Watch event starting April 9th. They become available, which is in fact actually for us tomorrow at switchover time. 2,500 Cubie coins per blueprint. It's a randomizer, so there's only two blueprints.
Two options.
Two
Yeah.
options. There's only two options. So, meaning that I'm thinking I may only need to buy two. Probably, given my luck, probably might need three or four.
Five.
Oh, he's bragging
Right.
again.
Yeah.
Right. Bragging. What do you mean? I'm talking about I'm going to be getting like five blue guys and no red guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're lucky,
Not for me, just two for me. Two.
Right.
That's all I'm gonna get. Two.
Right. That's the guy.
That's all I need is two.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, and then the you get those two. I think you get the raw materials they need for these are 1,000 resin,
Green
which is good.
user vaults.
And then you get the gloves from Green User Vaults. So
Yeah.
and I think as long as you've got one Green User Vault near you, you should be able to get enough gloves to at least do two prints, right?
Yeah.
And if you've got more user vaults, then even better.
Yeah. Honestly, if the worst case scenario, you only get one and you have one fighter, you put that fighter up the whole time and just run with that color.
Yeah.
So you can still participate, still earn your prizes at the end, and hopefully more, depending if the luck's in your favor.
Yeah. Cause
and
go ahead.
Just to add on to that point, like if you're worried about coming up with the cash or how you're going to watch this live, there's going to be a Discord channel that'll help you. You can tune in. Everybody's going to be talking about it. It's going to be all over Facebook. We may put out a couple of tweets. So if you can't pay or get around to watching the show, just pay attention online to when each fight starts if you want to actively engage in this event.
Well, that's helpful.
Absolutely true. Because Super Bowl, they had a similar sort of Discord party in that. I know I was at a Super Bowl party watching that, but I was paying attention, just as much attention to the Discord party, and it was a lot more fun personally, than watching the Super Bowl through the Discord party. So I imagine, and that's what I plan on doing here. I'm not even really gonna. I don't know. Don't think I'm gonna go out. I mean, at this point, I don't plan on going out. Who knows what's gonna happen by the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I'll decide to go to a bar or something of that nature. But at this point, I'm just planning on watching Discord party, and then if I know when the fights are happening, then I'll just switch my cubies. Otherwise, I'm going to go with the, either put red or blue all the way through and see what happens. All right? Now, I've got, I don't know how close you guys follow the MMA at all.
Not so much. When I was a bit younger.
But
okay. So I'll tell you, my secret weapon is my sister. She's a she's a fight doc as a part time. So she's actually last time the M&A was in Toronto, she was actually there ringside, fighting, like doing the fight doc role. She actually got to go into the ring at one point and check one guy out and make the call whether the fight can continue or not. So
Oh, cool.
I think she's got some good knowledge of these fighters and guys. So I'm going to be talking to her on her getting her predictions, and that's what I'm going to be following for this. So fingers crossed.
Okay, just real quick, we got a question in here. So Minnow was saying you got to choose one color, do all event with one color. So just to totally clarify, if you want to do each action in this event,
Yeah.
basically the fighters are going to come out and they're going to be wearing gloves, blue or red gloves, and right then and there you got to decide, is it going to be the red or the blue that's going to win? Because as soon as Bruce Buffer starts talking, that's when they take the snapshot. So you got to have your color on at that point if you're actively participating.
For that fight. Yeah, for that one fight
great,
specifically. Yeah.
great suggestion from Minnow. Like you better just copy atrocities. Copy betting is it sounds like a smart move here.
All right, so it sounds like if I get a win, I got to make my move at the last moment. Okay.
Oh.
So.
Yeah.
But.
I guess I was mansplaining Minnow a little bit, but for anyone that doesn't really understand what's going on, that's how you participate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jab.
So I plan on watching the Discord. They'll be talking about when the next fight's coming in. That's when I'm going to make the change, or even once the fight starts, if I know who I'm picking in the next fight, I may, you may switch it over then. So
that's right. Yeah.
For sure.
Make sure you get it done before the announcement.
Right, and in here, you get points based upon how the fight does. So, and I think they're going to be updating, showing the leaderboards live within the Cubieverse, or so, because because he says your score will be updated after each fight. So I don't know where we're going to have to go to see the fight or see the score, whether it's going to be an app within the Cubieverse or someplace on their Discord. Don't know.
Yeah.
But that'll be kind of cool. And then, of course, just by participating, right, you get 100K resin. So, which means
that's a nice chunk.
You spend 1,000 resin and 2 green keys and 2,500 cubic coins to get the blueprint and one fighter, and you end up with 100,000 resin. So you're getting 100 times your resin investment, plus there's 2 prize boxes you would get, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then if you're into it and whatnot, like 1 to 10 get the I'm gonna say an epic MMA fighter, 5 boxes and 5 boxes. So hey, like can't go wrong. I think it'd be cool. I know with the football event in the past, or what do they call that? Soccer World Cup.
The World Cup.
I knew nothing about it beforehand, but shit, I got into it. So
yeah.
Right on.
it was good fun.
Yeah, how did you guys make out in that? Like I ended up making it final round and Messier. But how'd you guys do?
Yeah, I ended up with we got the blueprint. The epic.
Yeah, I got the blueprint. So. Yeah.
But I know, like I was, bidding on. I paid a lot for like was it Spain. I think I paid a lot for Spain QB, and then they choke. And then the Spain QB's worth nothing. Like after that fight, and there's a couple other ones like that, right? So but no, it was a good event. I expect this event will be cool. So that's really awesome.
Yeah.
So okay. So moving along, the next thing they talked about in there was these quality of life improvements. So new mailroom, that is awesome.
Oh wow!
Yes. Right? I am like thinking that's awesome because like as I said in there, you get like a couple
20 builders return.
Builds print, 20 builders coming back.
Yeah.
It's just like one after another, like just open them all.
Yeah, or you're stuck in a bidding war and you're like, oh, you got to go through all those boxes in order to get your return bid back because you just panic bought a 510,000 cubic coin Jade Dragon blueprint. So yeah, being able to open it all at once will help in a lot of ways.
Yeah, no, that's pretty sweet. I would like them to next quality of life improvement. I would love when you're picking builders to to put in the builds. That would
Yes.
be some way to
Oh,
streamline
a search at the bottom.
that. Yeah,
Oh,
because I keep going through. I printed like a
yeah,
ton of builders at the beginning, and then just
yeah,
keep scrolling through. So, and
yeah.
all my good builders are not my newest builders. So
Nope.
gotta keep going. Okay. Next item here, they talked about cooldown timers for trade shacks and restaurant quests. So
Yeah.
that'll go. It was like that after I think Christmas for a while. I love that, and then when they back to
Yeah.
this,
So did I. Yeah.
Mhm.
so that changed and once again great. I know we've talked about this before, but like good job with that one again because even the other night we were out and we were like 5 minutes early, gonna do a loop of trade shacks, and 5 minutes early, so now we gotta wait. So
Yeah.
and then we do the first one, and we're a little bit faster getting to the second or third one. So now we gotta wait.
So,
We got 10 seconds left. Like come on, this will be awesome. So that's good. And then of course they announced these city events, which I really like the idea of. The first one is going to be, I think, in Phoenix, May
Yes.
18th, 19th, 2,500 crystal keys to participate. I feel like this is kind of like Coin Hunt Fest on
Yeah.
a toned down version whereby they are
Toned
not.
down.
Yeah,
No, an all-out version.
No.
I
This is what
think
they
like
said.
totally opposite.
Well,
Yeah.
I-
Coin Hunt Fest.
Sorry to
though-
cut you off. Go ahead.
Okay, no. Like Coin Hunt Fest, right? They had the event, but then there was also speakers.
Yeah.
3 days of speakers. They organized the food, which was awesome. They really like went full out on the food. They had like a closing event where like the alcohol was open bar. If you had the VIP pass, they took people other places, which I didn't have, but I just heard about afterwards. So they were getting top shelf
Right.
liquor, and like from that perspective, it was toned up, right, like it was really
Right.
well.
No, this is
This
just
one-
the city version of it is
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
steroids.
Yes,
So just that's part.
right.
That's what they were saying.
Yeah, so they don't have, and likewise that one you had they organized a hotel. You got a special QB for that hotel, so which they don't have here. I was asking them about it, and they confirmed that there's no recommended hotel at this point. Just
Right.
got to get there. They did say there's 6 QBs you can get through attending it, of which they said at least 2 will be unique. So.
Oh no.
And it says fruit festival. So it looks right now there's at least off of the image there's an apple, looks like a watermelon and a peach, and then the plum crawl. So that looks really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, they divided it off into daytime events and nighttime events. Fruit festival events are the daytime events, and the quote unquote pub crawl is the evening events. But it's gonna be way
Mhm.
cooler than a pub crawl. He said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about that. That's got me excited. Like just even looking at the
Yeah.
picture, I'm hoping this turns into like a Sims thing where all of a sudden everybody's wearable QB pops up and then you see where everyone is.
That would be awesome.
And then you could interact with them at like because I'm
Yep.
looking at these beers here, so I know there's going to be consumables, and you're going out and like how cool
Yep.
would that be downstairs? Be like, oh, there's Illusion Weaver over there.
Yeah.
Like, right.
That's cool.
So I got my hopes up.
Are you guys thinking of going?
I'm
It's on the
thinking
back-
about
it's in the
going.
back
I
stop
won't
right
be
now.
able to. Yeah.
Okay. So chat, send us some chats so we can
Yeah.
put into a fund
And
to
now
go.
there
to
is
go,
an advantage to us going.
right?
They did confirm. I'm sure. I take it as a solid word that more players go from Vancouver or Toronto, the local areas for both. That place will get the next city event.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said that is a confirmed bean. So
Right?
literally
That's what
the
I
war
heard.
is on. And like I am thinking about just going. I don't
Yeah, like for that reason alone.
I'd love to.
Well, we definitely do
Oh,
a show from there if we got there for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I did look into some options. Flying out of Detroit versus Toronto or
Oh
so.
yeah.
Um, Detroit seemed cheaper. It still seemed rather expensive, I thought, especially if you're just flying down and flying back.
Yeah. That's
My thought was, honestly, I could get a better flight prices flying in and out of Vegas. So if I was to go, I'm thinking fly into Vegas, rent a car, spend a 4 to 5 hour drive to Phoenix, do
Okay.
huh,
do the event, and then go back to Vegas and spend a few more days in
win your money
Vegas.
back.
Win my
Nice.
money back in Vegas. Exactly. Exactly. So
Can you
That
do
sounds
the
like a
Vegas
plan.
monument again at all? Like, can you collect resources or something?
I have no idea if you can redo it at all or not. It would be cool if you could.
Hmm. Yeah.
I know I got my 1,000 experience for having done it the first time around,
Oh, good.
which popped the QB from like level 1 to level 8, so that was really awesome. Um, really happy with that. I made sure that I did not have like a level 9 or 10 QB on because
Right.
that would have been a waste. But I really enjoyed that, so that was good. Awesome. Yeah. So hopefully we can do a show maybe
Huh,
from Phoenix.
that'd be
So,
nice.
anyways, May 18th, 19th, so still some time to get it organized, more details. But I did ask in the thread. They said at least 6 cubies that you'll be able to get there.
Hmm.
So I think it's cool. I definitely think, as I said, they put on a great show for the Coin Hunt Fest. This is different, where they're not, they're not organizing around it. It's just the cube event. What was cool, like in the Coin Hunt Fest, um, they rolled out the memory function. That was one of the functions that you had to do there. There was one event whereby you found the QB it was at a fountain area, and you had to then proceed to go 3 different places, 3 directions off it, and find. I'm not sure. I can't remember what exactly it was, but like find 3 different items, pick them up with your QB, and then bring them back to
Oh
uh,
wow.
and drop it off, and then go get the other ones. Really kind of cool thing they could do that. And then the third one, I can't remember what the third one was. I remember we were looking over at the Bellagio, and you could see something, and it might have been I don't recall what it was. It was kind of neat. And then the fourth one was they had a truck going up and down the strip in Vegas with advertising the
Yeah, that seemed
Cubieverse,
pretty cool.
and there's a QR code on it, and you had to figure out to snap the QR code,
Ah,
and that would solve that quest item for you. So all really cool things,
nice.
and they've obviously been working on this for a little while, so I'm sure there'll be a lot more cool things to do if they're really doing this. So I'm excited. I want to go. Just a matter of being able to figure a way to justify it,
Right.
and if I can go for more than a weekend by tagging on to a Vegas trip, which I do kind of do anyways, um, that would be cool. So awesome. And I think that's the quick recap of um, Hunter's Lodge. Is there anything else that you guys? I don't have any other slides on it. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to
No,
bring up that
no,
I
there's
missed.
yeah, there's just the quick Q&A stuff, but we covered a lot of that. Like Canada
Yeah.
is going to be getting Tim Hortons next month.
Okay.
People wanted to know if there would be city events held in other cities like Maryland, and really, like they just got to get this first city event to be
Yeah.
successful, and for that second one to go. So
Maryland,
go support it.
Maryland just got a QB crane. Like, come on,
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're not getting
Not
that
really.
event for
Hey,
a
they're
while,
excited though, right? They're
right?
excited.
For
So
sure.
let them be excited. That's good.
Yeah. One thing that did pop out though is they wanted to know why Titanium Toaster chose certain brands over other gift card exports, and a lot of it was licensing approval. And they really pointed out, like one thing you can do in the USA, you can't necessarily do in the UK and Canada. And
Yeah.
there are actually a lot of laws about this. Like you even look at like
Yes.
Cadbury chocolates. You got to have a different chocolate recipe in Canada than UK than what you can have in the United States. There's a lot of these really petty back and forth trade laws between the United States and the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. It's
Yeah.
stupid, but it's really nothing that they can do. And
Freedom.
so they really, I think they're doing great. They're releasing one
Yeah.
structure at a time, and then each country like is kind of getting attention with each new structure launch. So UK and US is getting pizza. We're getting coffee next. Who knows? Maybe they'll focus on a different country across the pond and help them out. What else was there? Yeah, Hunter's Lodge, next Hunter's Lodge, they're definitely talking about the coffee shop. And one thing Alan Kill wanted to know was, can we have like a branded pizzeria or a non-branded pizzeria? And they said no, just one. And someone else had followed up later saying, could we physically move our pizzeria to another location? And the answer was absolutely not. But by that point, we should be able to put structures up for
Yeah.
auction.
Auction.
And Illusion Weaver said that will immediately take the item out of your slot inventory. So just by putting it up for auction, I think you automatically release control of it and it's up for grabs. Anyone can get it. And then that way you can build a new pizzeria. So looks like you can do, maybe you could seed a city that way. If you're
Yep.
only limited to certain structures and build them and then put them up for
Perhaps.
auction.
So
Yeah,
can
who
I?
knows?
But am I
Yeah.
limited? Does the limit still apply? I.e., if there is a pizzeria up for auction, I already have a pizzeria. Can I bid on that pizzeria and buy it, or
Yeah.
can I not? Like it, and I guess the question then becomes,
I don't know. Yeah.
like
Yeah, if it's
with
worth it or not.
blueprints, you can only like earn the blueprint once, but you can always buy more through the auction house. So, is that the way they're going to do it? If that's the case, then cool. You can expand through the auction house. Of course, that would just mean that I would have to build all the Tim Hortons in London, and then you guys would just be buying them all from me.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think if you watch Hunter's Lodge, they went over this.
Yeah.
Huge shout out though to Rachel for putting that suggestion in, because I'd love to do one of these city events. I still don't think I can make it up to Vancouver, but go Toronto people, go everyone in our local, in the Ontario local. They're the Ontario local and the BC local are very competitive leagues. I hear some people say they're always finishing, top 5 in their local. I'm like, you wouldn't finish top 50 in ours. Like, it's intense. Ontario and BC. So
It's very competitive.
yeah.
yeah. Well, I remember. I think sometime last summer, I was like, went out the first day, and I was like, "Hey, I was number 3 in the world, but I was also number three locally." So,
Yeah. Yep.
Anyways, it's
Yeah.
for sure. So, yeah. So, what else? They did put through a patch.
Yeah.
I don't recall anything super crazy on the patch at this point.
No.
No
issues on my end.
Yeah. No, I think.
I think we're good. I think really Hunter's Lodge covered a lot of those patch issues.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
What about what's your thoughts on this month's Adventure Road?
Oh, those changes have been amazing. I love them. Like way more interactive, hitting WOVs and BOVs and different types of quantities of trade shacks.
It's been
incentives
to grow user vaults in your own area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
it's
Yeah.
more specific to the game, and I think a lot of it when we first came over to Cubieverse had a lot of the trailing coin hunt world stuff, and it just really didn't apply to the new game that they were building. So yeah, this is way more specific.
awesome. If you guys want to continue, maybe we should take a quick break, and we'll come back. If you guys want to do a quick
Yeah,
That's a
bio
good
break here,
idea,
and
except I hate to surprise you guys, but the two of you will have to be here on out on your own for the Q&A or whatnot. So you two will have to talk to everybody else and keep them interested, okay?
the two of
sorry,
us.
what was that?
I have
The
to
two of
sign
us?
I have to sign off for now. But I'll leave you
Oh, okay,
two to finish off the rest.
All
us
right,
two.
we'll take
Okay,
a
Okay.
quick
us two.
break.
Bye
Quick
guys.
break for the two of us, and maybe we'll run out and grab our copies of the Trade Shack in the meantime. Not Trade Shack,
Right
Loot Code. In the meantime. Oh wait, can't do that. But anyways,
on.
we'll be back in like 2 minutes.
All right, perfect.
All right, we're back.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Again, it's just the two of us. Hopefully, you guys understand. If not, this is very painful. Welcome back. It's unfortunate we lost Magic Dragon. But does anyone have any questions? But we covered in Hunter's Lodge. Is anyone here going to the event in Phoenix?
I saw somebody in chat there. I'm gonna say this wrong. Carolyn May indicated that she was able to get a flight and everything else for like not less than 900 US dollars from Minnesota, including a car rental and everything else. So clearly there are deals out there for people to get. So
Yeah. Well, that's pretty awesome. So hopefully you can keep us posted, Carolyn. We always love screenshots and videos. Like super jelly. Would love to go. It's just not on the table right now, even though I'd love to sneak out. Maybe if we win the lottery.
right, as I said, at some point maybe we'll actually start collecting some donations for this and then support those sorts of activities. But I don't think it's happening this time around. But
Oh,
I do think, as I said, if I can go, it's going to be probably through Vegas, because
mhm.
there and back uh, for a weekend, that's just almost it's a lot. So, but I do hope people go, and if we can get one in Toronto, then even better. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
because I think there'll be a lot of activity. But yeah,
Well, Carolyn May is willing to share her travel agent, so I'm sure you can reach out to her. Looks like she's US based in Minnesota, so that may change things for some of our Canadian viewers, but who knows? And it looks like DZ from the Berg, from Pittsburgh, is going to be heading down there, so that's pretty cool. I know he's very active, was at Vegas. One of my friends who was able to go to Hawaii So yeah, he's right into it. I see people saying that they're FOMOing, and that makes me really happy. Like because I hear lots of people say, the game is dead, and I don't believe it is. I think the game is just getting started. They're turning this into like Metaverse, a Cubieverse. There's lots of stuff that's coming, and it's no longer just drive around answering questions. It's so cool. Looking forward to this MMA event, and yeah, hopefully Toronto. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, for sure. No, like the Toronto is. If we get Toronto, that's great. MMA like event coming up in less than 2 weeks.
Mhm.
I think that's cool. And it kind of shows, um, you know, the value of what they're doing. Whereby if they can, from a marketing perspective, tie this into other other activities, people, the platform grows and people very well may be able to, you know, be willing to sponsor more events for them. I'm
Right.
assuming, assuming the MMA UFC is not paying these guys any money to run this
No, I
event,
wouldn't think so.
um, but um,
Yeah, like it gives us more exposure. Like I certainly agree with what you're saying. And yeah, like as the game picks up pace and more people tell their friends, and we have city events where you get further exposure, where developers are showing up on scene and promoting it. You obviously got to get permission from the city to be there. So there's other advertisements, other word of mouth. The traction gets going. And then you start having people like, hey, did you hear, like, just go answer some trivia questions and get out with your buddies and you can get a pizza gift card. And it's none of this like, misplay crap where you got to spend hours and hours and hours playing it. Like it's fairly easy to get the QB coins needed for export each week once you get the game going.
for sure.
So yeah, this is friggin' awesome. I love this. So I think the game's going to pick up, and as the game picks up more, then more stuff can happen. Maybe events or exports get increased, or maybe more of these city events start happening. The sky's the limit, and I'm really excited to be part of the game. At the floor level.
Absolutely. Um, I know many years ago I was listening to this podcast and they're talking about some guy who's like a wine. Uh, he started a wine podcast, right? I think it was on
Hmm.
wine and the whole thing, they gave away, they did all their stuff for free, but where I say they made it worthwhile for them to do it because that was their full time job. Was that every year they had like a big exhibition, right? Conference
Okay.
where everybody flew in, they did whatever, they sold, big tickets for it, um, and that was where that's where they kind of generated the revenue to do it. And of course,
Hmm.
they weren't necessarily. A lot of the money was coming from people that were wanting to advertise at the show and work at the show and all this stuff. So they did all this stuff for
Right.
the full year, whatever. And it kind of almost feels in many ways like the Cubieverse may potentially be heading that way with um, these events, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
if they can get 500 people coming into um, to do one of these city events at places, you know, maybe they pair up with like some hotel chains and other things like
Hmm.
that, and there's activity. So who knows? A lot of
Well, even
potential.
even at work, I got a buddy. He's popped into the show a couple times and watched us. He's interested about playing, hasn't really taken the dive, but he's right on for Halloween. Like he's gonna come out with us when we hunt Halloween this year. So this is the type of stuff where it's like, he's like, there's nothing really to pull me into the game now, but he's an extrovert, likes to get out, meet new people. So if we have this big city event and everyone's coming from all over for the game, then he's like, yeah, I'll go. I'll tell my friends. I'm sure I could get more people who don't play the game to show up for something like that.
Yeah, that's really cool for sure.
Mhm.
Speaking of Easter event, um, we kind of skipped over that. That happened. How did you how'd you like the Easter event?
It was good. But I was kind of evented out, and with stuff going on in real life, I put in the effort to get the blueprint and enough resources for a single print. and then I kind of backed off and went to real life stuff. How about yourself?
So we we went out there. What was it, Saturday night? This Saturday, I had a family function Saturday night, so it started at 8 o'clock our time. I was ready to go at like 8:10 or so. So we went
Hmm.
around and I just needed. I had my route planned out or so. Back in my head, I'm like, okay, I got enough blue vaults, and if I go towards the trade shack right now, I'll have enough resources by the time we get there for our first print. Um, and it kind of as soon as I did that calculation in my head, the first print happened for somebody else. So I was like, okay, that's not gonna be me this time. One time soon though, sometime soon,
Hmm.
I'm gonna get that print. That's my goal. Either me
Be a,
or gold miner. I don't care. One of us. Will get it. But
yeah,
actually,
be immortalized on the wiki for sure.
right?
That's awesome. Every time you click on a QB, it tells you who got that first print.
Yeah. So as it did, but then we went out 2 days. I think I got enough for. Interestingly enough, I got more enough resources, blue resources, to print six cubies, and only uh, the common resources only got enough to print four. Um, so clearly it was. I clearly that was not the quite the right mix, but it is what it is. I did like, however, though, that I knew exactly what I was getting with each one. There wasn't that random element to
Right.
getting the resources, right? So I did really appreciate that. So that's
Hmm.
kind of cool. So
Yeah, maybe that's why I didn't give it so hard either. That it was easy enough to figure out what I needed, and then backed off a bit.
yeah.
I think too because like I already had the QB really because it was given out during the last event. So I guess serious question time. Would you rather them do it the way they did it this time, or do you remember the Tony QB and it just came out as a white square? Like, would you rather them just wait until they finished their design, or give us something that wasn't entirely mocked up?
So I think in this case, I like how they fixed it. I like that they fixed it. I think in this case they realized that they screwed up with the original Rabbit QB, right? Like when that
Mm.
Rabbit QB came out for Chinese New Year, we commented on how it was like this reminds me of Easter. This looks like an Easter one, and I'm not saying they took our feedback, but I'm sure they got heard a lot of feedback like that, and they looked at it and said, yeah, this is this is an Easter QB. It's not a Chinese New Year QB. So the
Hmm.
fact that they went and they addressed that and they did the flip uh,
Right.
was good and cool. However, what that means, of course, was I think with this event there was less emphasis on this because people say, "Well, I already got this QB. I don't want to get more of the
Hmm.
Easter QBs." Really, what it did was it made the Chinese New Year QB more valuable because
Right.
only people that had the resources, um, enough resources to print it, are able to
Hmm.
get it, right? Because
Right.
those are going to be hard to get, even though in theory those are common. So
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But hey, they learned, and hopefully this is a one-time thing. And you know,
Hmm.
it is what it is. I mean, I thought the event went well. If it, you know, I say if they'd flipped the resource somehow, done it that you're able to get the resources and print the the Chinese New Year QB for the first 2 days, and then the next, or for half of it, then they would implement the switch and then print the other way or to normal. I think there would have been might be a little bit more rush or push or whatever happens though. But
Right.
that might
Yeah.
have been as difficult to do as anything else, right? So it is what it is.
Hmm. So,
So
well,
yeah,
all worth it.
all right,
Oh, it looks like our loot code is exhausted already. So,
all right. So I
well,
guess
thanks
enough
for
people
figuring it out.
figured out the two portion.
Hmm.
the two.
Uh,
So
well, I
it's
know
good.
we've cut into Ladies of the Hunt if they're going on tonight, and we do like to keep it pretty short and sweet. So if there's nothing else, Minnow did say that he would tag along and go to the event. I don't know if that means that you guys are going to be carpooling or not, but if Trosties goes to the city event,
Oh,
Minnow will put in the effort.
now there's pressure on me, eh? Okay. We'll see
Yeah,
what we can do. I do really want to go, but we'll see what happens. But now I got pressure. So,
right on.
okay, cool. Well, that's
Oh,
great. I'm glad. Yeah, we're talking here a bit longer than we have, but we were off for 2 weeks. Um,
hmm.
but we'll see. So, uh, to to go with Kate, Kate, is that Krillin May? She said I miss
Yeah, and just a
Salute.
response.
So,
Yeah, we had the. Go
so
ahead.
if when we started, I had the 6 on my head, and then Magic Dragon had the 5, and of course the leading image of this was also new to the 6 too. So that was where I had the 6. The opening Magic Dragon had the 5. Um, we then had
I had the
0
0.
from Lionheart, and then uh, Magic Dragon when he left, he was twoing, twoing a lot. And in fact, I think I
Yeah,
mentioned 2
doing this.
at one point during the show accidentally, or not accidentally, was talking with the MMA guys, and he was definitely throwing the 2s out at that point in time. So it was 6502 was the code, and you know, clearly, clearly, people figured that out because it sounds like it's gone now. So, um, and I'm glad that I'm glad it was kind of hit. At the same time, a little bit of puzzle, but the puzzle seemed like it um,
Too difficult. Yeah,
wasn't too difficult. So no one's gonna hate us for doing it that way. So hopefully.
that's right.
Anyways, thank you everybody for watching the show live. Thank you for anybody who actually watches this. And as we say, please like and subscribe and do all the other stuff. Um, and yeah, that's it. I don't know if you have any final comments there, Matt Leiter.
No, no, not at all. I'm just glad to be back in the saddle again. Thank you everyone for coming out, and we'll see you again next week.
Okay, thanks everybody.